My husband kept saying divorce over every fight. Then I found a girl in my house, so I left. My husband and I had been fighting every month for a year and a half. I paid the bills, and he stayed home with our daughter because he wanted that. The first time he threatened divorce was when my sister needed a place to stay for 1 week after her relationship fell apart. I said yes, and he exploded, yelling that I didn't ask him, but it didn't feel like a partnership. He acted like my choices didn't matter. I reminded him his friend had lived with us for 5 weeks and barely helped, and he waved it off like that didn't count. My sister helped clean, watched our daughter so I could work, and left in 7 days, but he kept bringing it up. After that, the fights kept coming over things like dishes, laundry, or me answering a work call. Most of the time he started it, and then somehow I was the bad guy for reacting. I suggested couples therapy, and he kept saying we didn't need it. Then last Thursday, he picked a fight I walked in the door. He wouldn't even let me finish a sentence. He said I worked too much, that he felt abandoned, and that I wasn't a good mom because I wasn't home all day. Then he said, I want a divorce. I told him, I work this much because you keep spending my money. Designer sneakers, a gaming setup, and subscriptions we don't even use. He laughed and said, so now you're my boss? He didn't even look sorry. Not once. That did it. I grabbed our daughter's bag, stuffed clothes into it, grabbed her stuffed animal, and left for my sister's place. For 2 days, he left crying voicemails, saying he was sorry and begging me to come home. I finally agreed to talk and told him the rules. No more screaming and no more divorce threats. He promised, and for once he looked scared that I might actually be done. We started couples therapy the next week. In therapy, he admitted he felt useless because he wasn't earning money, and I admitted I felt alone because I carried everything. He got a job, started setting an alarm, and came home tired. He talked about coworkers and started going to the gym. He came home smelling like cologne. He kept saying work was going great. Then our daughter had a school presentation she'd practiced for weeks. She was bouncing on her toes that morning, dressed and grinning. She kept whispering her lines in the hallway and asking, are you both coming? I put the date on the fridge and texted him reminders. Our daughter kept looking at the clock. That morning, he said he forgot and made plans with the guys instead. He said it was networking and he couldn't cancel. I said, you're skipping her presentation for drinks? He snapped that I was controlling and that I never let him have anything. I could feel the old pattern coming back. Then, under his breath, he muttered, marrying you was a mistake. The kitchen went quiet except for the refrigerator humming. I turned and said, what did you say? He stared right through me and said, I should have divorced you years ago. I didn't argue. I walked to our daughter's room and started packing her clothes into a backpack. He followed me, panicking, saying he didn't mean it and asking where I was going. I said, you keep saying it, so I'm finally listening. He grabbed my sleeve, begged me to stop, then said if I left, he'd hurt himself. I pulled away and said, that's not how you keep me here. I picked up our daughter and walked out. That night, I called a lawyer. Within a week, we signed a separation agreement, including custody rules and a line about no overnight guests when our daughter was there. A few weeks later, I went back in the daytime to grab the rest of our daughter's things for school. My hands were shaking when I parked, but I told myself I was just there for her stuff. I could hear a TV on inside. I knocked, expecting him. No footsteps came, just silence. The door opened and a young woman, maybe 20, stood there in his t-shirt, hair messy, eyes half asleep. She smelled like perfume. Her phone was in her hand. My stomach sank. She stared at me and said, who are you? From inside, I heard my husband call, who's at the door? Then he stepped into view wearing the robe I bought him for Christmas, like nothing was wrong. His face went from curious to shock. Our daughter squeezed my hand and asked, Mommy, who's that lady? My throat closed up. I picked my daughter up, carried her to the car, and strapped her in without a word. He ran out barefoot onto the cold driveway, begging me to wait and saying he could explain. I shut the car door, started the engine, and drove away. Now everyone's saying I'm overreacting by leaving like that. Was I wrong?